It's another Sunday, and I welcome you to another episode of Revelations. My name is Maame Grace, and I am your host. Today, we are going to enjoy a very interesting story, a very interesting conversation. I am introducing my guest now. I have Doctor, everybody know him, Dr. Lawrence Tetteh himself on my set today. Doctor, I welcome you to Revelations.
Thank you, Maame.
And then I have another beautiful sister, another beautiful lady, another beautiful reverend. She will introduce herself.
I'm Reverend Baaba Djirackor, head pastor of a church called Tabernacle of Praise, or in short, Top Chapel, headquartered in Tetteh, and we have a satellite churches, 25 branches home abroad, Costa Rica. Yes, married with 6 beautiful kids.
Ooh. An
author, an entrepreneur, a good cook, and fun to be with.
You heard her. Auntie Baaba had a story. She has a story to tell us. So we are going to listen to her, and Doctor will help us dissect the issue. So Auntie Baaba, then our famu, niyama our famu, baby anyamidi wu free, baby anyamidi wa bedru. And no, any ye pese yeshe, yetie, ye bibe fa afutuo wom, ye bibe nyesu ehunu wom, ye bibe di wechi, ye bibe follow, ye bi aba wa sorry, aba beji ahome, said the nyame, asuye wa ma wa huji.
Mpacho me da si bebre. I mean, maybe I'm starting free, but I think I'm going to just start it off from when I became born again. I became born again at the age of 16. I had my secondary education, the old system, Form 1 to Form 5. I was Archbishop Potter Girls, I was Takrady. And I'm here in 6th form, I was Laboni, Accra. And so I met the Lord when I was in lower 6. I was Laboni Secondary School. And Eradi. But I want to share before I met the Lord, because the topic that I was given to talk about tonight was homosexuality, whether there is any spiritual implications or whatever.
Homosexuality, lesbianism, whatever it is about.
So that's what, I guess you saw this, and I was called because of what we did on the Standpoint a few weeks back. Well, it's so let me start by defining homosexuality. So homosexuality is a sexual attraction between same gender. So same gender, it could be a man or friend and lesbianism. A man and omuka gay homosexuality. Just say bema won't have sex, and also so bani or ba have sex. Well, so my story, I had a 5 years into lesbianism from the age of 10, when my mother thought. Then when I entered a secondary school very early, I was a sharp kid. Because secondary school in term were actually the last batch of the old system. And Maame thought that there was some nice, respectable looking elderly persons, I think from seniors. Obaya, very hospitable. And when she came to meet us as a new person in school, my mom thought, oh, a nice person. Without knowing Nimpa or the Nebanaya or Diejano. And so this same person was supposed to act like a big sisterly role, was supposed to be like a mother, a mentor to a 10-year-old. So she was the one who sexually abused me, introduced me into lesbianism. So I had between 10 years and 15 years, because I did Form 1 to Form 5. Me ba Accra, me enter 6th form. And I'm in at the age of 16. Intino saying, probably by now I may be having a brothel or something. So she actually was the one that pushed me into the act of lesbianism. Now, let me use this to talk about this, and then also say this. I'm sure we had that story. We said we'll try and get a gentleman on. In his case, he was introduced at a very early age, around 8 years or so. Then I have another friend who was introduced at the age of 9. And I pray that parents watching will take a cue from this. Or no, okosra na downfo na wofo. Na downfo no ne maame etu kwan na aka papa npe ofie. Osi oda hono ma no hu se ase obi ye ne bibi. Sorry na downfo ne papa afa no e wo nechi. And that was how he was also introduced into it.
Wodie ne na ye pese nti wodie no eye obi obi a wo maame nya gidie woni mu e de wo ko share ne nsanti ye betimi akase na wo authority bi e wo so nti na otumi de wo ye de ope no obi o sha wo so de ye wade e wo mpekra wo ntimi nka
dabi obi o hwe wo so ye wade e mpa otumi ka say if you are matured na wonim nyansa na but usa na wo ya abofra wonim ade a ye de ye wo until we realize no na that's how wagintini wom asai wo ananso say emwa bi afri baby, but most of the time when you were a child, I mean, what sense is in a 10-year-old's mind? You don't know what it is that a person is even doing to you until you begin to like it. That is where now the problem is. When you begin to like it and now you are the one calling for it, then it's a different ball game altogether.
Until we get you to a point na wa be like it, until na enya problem ma ubi uma na said ya usa.
Yes, definitely.
Until we be like it.
No, definitely. Because idea bi here no akoshemu na unim na ya chiro as
until we be used to and I be normal to you.
It was normal. It was a girls' school. That's the other thing that most parents also don't know. We just shop for our kids and then we take them to school. And then we just take nice cars there to show off. Maybe our school way, without knowing what goes on there and what is happening to the child. So you get to that point and place where you also like it. And then you would also introduce, I'm sure the person who did that to me also went to the school very young, and somebody also introduced her to it. And so it goes on and on and on.
Until we are then now pay free mo.
And you know, my sixth form, my sixth form, I did it in Accra, Labone Secondary. Now, I was living with my uncle and then the family, the Shens, bless their hearts. When I came, my cousin, the same age, who is called Gina, she just said to me, let's go to church. I'm coming from a Christian background. It's not like I'm coming from a very strong Christian background. Let's go to church. And I was like, my brain is sorry, my whole life you're pushing my sorry, sir. Me at the papa bia was sorry. Then she went like, she rather was a Catholic. And then I'm coming from a background, I'm a Baptist. So it's like, yeah, I'm quite sorry. So I went like, where? Must me choosing. So then I said, okay, since I'm a Baptist, let's go to Calvary Baptist, because then I'm a Baptist. That day that we went to church, they were asking, there's something they do if you are coming from one region, a Baptist church, to the other place. They want to know who the new people are, and then they will just call you to the front, they introduce you. And you know, announcement, from other regions, so my forward, you know. And one I saw for back on an altar call. And so I got mixed up with the altar call people, and they thought I had given my life to Christ. But no, me back forward say, but you me free be a Baptist. So they did that, you know how you say the altar call prayer. But my heart was not in it. That was not why I went there. Now something happened to me, how I met the Lord. After that event, that night, I and my sister, my cousin, we shared the same bed. So I was on my bed, asleep. Namada. In the middle of the night, we had this, you know, the pictures of Jesus's frames in rooms. I see a picture. We had one in our room. In the middle of the night, something supernatural happened to me. I was 16 years old. I heard a voice that get up. And so when I woke up, I thought it was her because I'm not that in chain. So I was like, oh, onja me how. Then it was strong. And I wasn't opening my eyes, but I could hear someone calling me. Then something pulled me from the bed to my knees on the floor. When I opened my eyes, the Jesus' picture that had always been a frame in our room came alive. And I was led, that altar, a friend saying, a salvation, a friend saying, altar call, and a salvation prayer, and I grand opano. Then the picture that was there now led me to say it. So she woke up and she saw me say form and I was in tears. So she became alarmed. I said, what is happening? And I couldn't talk. Now this was my supernatural experience, how I came to know the Lord.
So that is what took you out of the act?
That was what took me. In fact, from that time, the age of 16, I don't remember, for another woman went off.
When that thing happened?
When I had that encounter.
Do you sometimes blame whoever introduced you? So no cause our situation anymore?
No.
You don't?
I do not blame her. Growing up, hitting 40 plus, looking back, I don't blame her. Now, I blame parenting, I blame the church, and I blame the hypocrisy. And when we talk about sexual topics and sexual issues, it's so much shrouded in, I don't know what it is. There's a way I say it that I'm telling you, you're too plain. But obvious, and so on.
Oh, yes, Daddy, asama oka ye nyina yi wote de okọ mu nia wafa mu parenting ne wa yem since it's a lesbianism something that we are talking add homosexuality ni what abuse the zim ni na yem fam bone tofa nia okay o se onyame na ni nye encounter no tumi yi ni free mu if I say me hu sa de no mo ye is there a spirit that is backing it? Is it a spiritual something na etwifa nkrofo no so ana se eya akono ana se said your kan echi so obi introduce wa hye mu wa obetimi willingly afiri wo obetimi so atena mu willingly ena o se oblemi church no ene awofo nso so say omonka sex ho asem. These three questions pachom pese waye hunhun mu nipa na wawo mu so ache no pese odi ye famu kakra na yete ase wa.
To begin with, Baaba is somebody that I've known very well. In fact, she's one of my proteges. So one of the young ladies who have not just come of age, but have proven ministry. I know her husband very well. I know her children, know her family very well. I can attest to character-wise. And the truth is that we have a responsibility. The church has a responsibility. The responsibility is that we must be informed so we can inform people. We seem to truly hide from certain subjects. That is killing. What did they discuss at children ministry? Most of us became smokers because of school. We began to drink because of school. We began to have sexual intercourses at a very early age because of school. When people are properly informed, we know how to pick and choose our lifestyle. And then this issue about parents, truly speaking, I don't think my mother realized how many times I smoked weed until I said it on TV one day and she put her hand on her head. That nene, Oshele weed. Yes, I've smoked weed before. And I was explaining to the people when I smoked weed the first time, I saw the sky very close. So I wanted to jump to touch the sky. I jumped a few times. I didn't have boom. I wanted to jump a few times. So it was Charles Stone who stepped my feet, St. Lawrence. I didn't know how far with him. It's going to get bungers. They brought me back to campus and put water on me. And I decided never again
to touch it.
I realized this can mess me up. And so we get exposed, and I agree with Pastor Baaba. But coming back to homosexuality and lesbianism, it is spiritual. God created your eye to do what?
To see.
Your ears.
To listen.
Your nose.
To smell.
Your leg.
To walk.
Your mouth.
To talk and eat.
Okay. So if God gives you a manhood, a womanhood, it has a purpose. And the moment you use it for something else, it is called perversion. And perversion is a sin. Not just a sin against God, but even against your own soul and spirit. I have lived in Europe since the mid-80s. And I can tell you one of the most terrible things that have happened to most young men and women is homosexualism and lesbianism. There are walk-in clinics in London where I live with my wife and children. And walk-in clinics, if you see the number of pads that are brought out, men can take like my type, they wear pad because their anus is torn and they have to wear pad like a woman in a period, in a menses, before they are able to wear trousers like I'm wearing now. Now, we are inculcating this habit here in Ghana, and it is sad. If you go to Akotolante, where I was born at Jamestown. My mother is from Osu, and my father is from Dodowa, but I was born at Jamestown. If you go to Akotolante and Jamestown, and you see the number of young men and women in homosexualism and lesbianism, you cry. I'm not told, I know.
In Ghana?
In Ghana, here in Accra. In fact, I'm using a typical place. I was born there. I was born at Jamestown. I even had to go and do a crusade in Jamestown and made an altar call for homosexuals and lesbians. I should be making reference to my own place. I believe charity begins at home. It's happened in a lot of places. But I'm using Akotolante and say, if you go now, Kojo Besia is on the rampart. And this is not just an attitude or a habit or a conobony. It's spiritual, a home. Look at any man who is a homosexual. Yeah. It's foolishness. But then it also brings sickness. Most of hepatitis today and HIV today and some of the sexually transmitted diseases today has come as a result of this. Unfortunately for them, the people who come to mess up with them and get them into this act of lesbianism or homosexualism, they just give them little money and they sleep with them. And so we need to, even as a government, as a people, our political leaders should start including that in their manifesto. Now, we want to copy the West. In the West, they have clinics. Ghana here, those of us who have lived in Europe for a long time, when we come back and we go to hospitals, in fact, when my wife and children enter into hospitals here, it's like it's a death warrant for them. Because we don't have the equipment, let alone what equipment you can get to take care of the effect of homosexuals and lesbianism. So there's a gentleman called a lawyer, Homo.S3xuality, who is an anti-homosexual and gay campaigner. I support him fully because I know what effect has caused. And also, ever since I entered into ministry and understood the ministry of deliverance, no say that thing is very transferable. That spirit is very destroying. A lot of people today who are living into masturbation and certain things started from certain things. And I want to tell you a story. I was lecturing in a university in the UK. A beautiful Ghanaian girl, not any Ghanaian, of course, Miss Race, came to me and said, Brother Lawrence, I have a problem. Says since she was 26, no man has proposed to her before. Now, if you see the lady, I'm a man. I know beautiful ladies, like the two of you. I know you are very, very beautiful and good looking.
Thank you.
Oh, me who are the pa? Me who are the pa me name?
Oh, yeah.
Me who are the pa me name? You look at the way you are even feeling about yourself.
When she said she has 6 kids, I'm like my mate.
You understand? She says since she was 26 years old, no man has ever proposed to her.
Like,
she was 36 at the time we spoke. It means for 10 years, a PhD research fellow in a very renowned university in the United Kingdom where I was studying too, and no man proposed to her. So what said if she wants to ease herself and have sex or make love, it is a cleanest who are male that she offers herself to. As I spoke to her, something occurs to me spiritually. That what does it think she's done that is not right? As I held hands to start praying for Pastor Baaba, you won't believe it. I heard the word lesbianism, supism. So I said, I don't normally do this. Are you into supi and things? So started shaking. She said she went to school in Ghana here Okay. She went to one of the girls' schools in Ghana. Sometimes you want to also be careful because some of these things you say, you don't want to undermine any school.
Yes, yes.
She went to a girls' school here in Ghana. And in the girls' school, she had, like what Pastor Baaba is saying, she had a senior prefect. When she was in Form 1, she had a sixth former who took care of her. So when you were saying it was just adding up to that story. So it was the lady who introduced her. Or didn't say she said fingering her, touching her, doing anything. And said she got excited about it. Her senior, because of that, nobody did anything to her in first year. When the lady finished, until she finished sixth form, constant relationship. Then she became born again in sixth form. And the lady said, "You see who will be excited about you." Came to the UK. After university, they tried to resolve. It was when she was 25 years old that she really became strongly a born again. Said, "Rubbish, I can't do this thing anymore." And the woman said, "Then you see that nobody will love you anymore." So from 26, so she was 36.
10 years, spiritual marriage.
Now, when we took her to, of course, those were the days of referred to were wild young men and things, school fellowship, grabbed this lady in the evening. It was an ugly deliverance. The odor, the things that happened. Then I realized that this homosexualism is more spiritual than you can imagine. In fact, if anybody is listening to me today, the most unwisest thing you can do to yourself is to live yourself like that. And hear me, in the realm of the spirit, you end up getting married to a spirit, and no man will virtually love you. Now, people who also enter into homosexualism are never satisfied by love, because your level of perversion messes you up. It's like somebody who is very much into masturbation. If you get to do masturbation so much, I'm told it will be very difficult for you to get a man or a woman properly give you satisfaction. Homosexualism is a spirit and is destroying people now. And to be honest with you, we should not hide away from the truth. It's happening in Ghana. It's destroying people in Ghana. It's at high places. There are a lot of people in prominence today in Ghana that foolishly have ended up becoming lesbianism. In fact, there are a lot of people today who have vibrators that they are either into homosexualism, into lesbianism, and more inside soupy. By the time you realize, no, is there any spiritual? Why is it spiritual? The enemy knows how to get you from the will of God for you to end up in his grip. And so we need to work on it.
Okay. When you were talking, you were calling for our leaders, the politicians, and all that. But you said it is spiritual. So I was thinking you would rather call the pastor, since it is spiritual, because they handle the spiritual affairs of the country. So I was thinking you will put it to them that it is your responsibility.
You come from the flesh and
then you get to the
spirit.
Okay. So if they can do something, so now, because now they don't want to hide anymore. They are coming out now. When you go to social media, you will see them coming out now boldly. Before it's abominable for you to talk about, say, "Oh, yes, simple." But now they are coming out. It's not that they are coming out to condemn it, but they are coming out to justify their actions.
You'll be surprised. This program, the comment you hear, of course, without being too arrogant, I am more known than the two of you. So if you look on social media now after this program, the comments you see about Lawrence, you'll be shocked. Most of the people writing the comments are people who are in need themselves.
Yeah. Oh.
It is a cartel. It's a big cartel. And people you expect to be responsible are in it. Of course, in the Western community, the devil has used it in such a way that it is a sexual orientation and things. Remember, there was a time there were some European leaders who said Ghana should do it. Atamil stood firm and said, "No, if that's the only way you should be sponsored, no." As we speak now, America is very much into it. The president of America has really endorsed it. We need a miracle. We need to pray. So, as for the pastors, they are doing their part. But if we and our leaders can stand to it, then it helps us to give us a basis from which they can be delivered. We can do our part privately and quietly and minutely, but on a larger scale, we need our leaders. And hear me, the saddest thing about our leaders in Ghana is that no political leader in Ghana here can say they are not Christian. At least the people you and I can relate to. Mm-hmm. President Rawlings of blessed memory was a Catholic. Mm-hmm. President Kufuor, who is still alive, is a Catholic. President Atta Mills is a Methodist. President John Mahama is a Assembly of God member, and President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is an Anglican. All of them
are Christians, and their power is superior and to the pastors.
Still,
they can say
they want to be politically right. All our leaders. Mm-hmm. So you don't take anybody out of it. So we need to pray.
We need to pray. We need to pray. Auntie Baaba, would the wakum da na unim what it takes and na the etie. Me person maybe say a dem pain the woman na because we free mu. We don't need to go back, but then now walk actually or more obia also our room. One crop for now, or no, we may be a few and no names of woman. How who saying say, and now woman then I'll be catching or being swire and not Junis or become foot to obey in our man.
That's it. Well, fortunately for me, well, strangely with me, Mediano, I didn't get the boldness to initiate people. I think it was just a short phase of my life. But I would say this. Because of the first program I did, a lot of people in the past 2 weeks have reached me. Many have reached me. I want to use this platform to say this. Please, as much as the act of homosexualism and lesbianism, all of these things are, sexual perversions, please do not let us become harsh and hate the people in it. Mm-hmm. The last 2 weeks has been a journey for me. A lot of people are now chatting me up on Facebook. Minsumi Womo, the youngest is only 6.5 years, and Maame and Onemekasafan. I want to say this first to anyone that is in it. I want to tell you this, that you are special to God. And I'll tell you what, if God took me out and has brought me to this point and is taking me on, Nyame otumefa adefunu a emfatabia na wafana we siesi intino sa wo na sa wo hwen ya de sa ne adadi kan ya ye kan kire wo no say obitumi no weed ni ade na wo school no. Please don't think that your life, because some say Christians hate them. You are not hated, you are loved. It's just what you are in that is destructive. And so I want to tell you this, that we don't hate you. If you are in, help is there for you. Reach out to some of us and we can help you. Number 2, I want to address parents that found out that their kids have been involved in either lesbianism or homosexual. I am one person that it's difficult. I don't judge people. I have had a very interesting cocktail of a background such that it makes me fall in love with anybody that comes my way. Metesa, sorry, me instrumentalist. They know about dreadlocks near the I love them the way they are. Sometimes I buy them the earrings myself. So I offer share. The Holy Ghost to work in them, take them through their process. Every parent, I will be able to find it out. Say, Baaba, Bema. They've either been into it before or you just found out that they are into it. Don't go and phone saying good thing. I say, boy, my word the flu of fear. Don't do that. A difficult a situation when you find, especially in your African setting, yeah. Nkrofobe jajo na nkrofobe ka do sumesi ni bay or today announce so to say mpacho nyakugu drone jina. Don't condemn your child. Don't look down upon him or her. Don't throw him or her away. Embrace that child. More love will change the person. More love and prayer and counseling will change the person. But say, If so condemn akolano, no bend the rest of the kids cry, you are pointing fingers at them. Embwa, afenso, sa onya kuno wa sorry ya. So far wa sorry na no. Please, we are begging you. Jesus did not come for the righteous. Jesus came for sick people. That is why we need him. The church is supposed to be a clinic, it's supposed to be a hospital, not for pretenders and hypocrites. We need friends, real people who will come to church with their issues, and the church must be able to respond with love, not with spite. Don't condemn anybody. As much as it's evil, it affects you. It can affect you to the extent that you didn't go Obeka say, I hate Daddy Lawrence for Nyawakano, because the Bible says that we have become so blinded spiritually. But I want to tell everybody out there that is watching us say, Mbwa ewo homa asofo mama yen sorry mama yen sorry ni yen kan wasem na sofo bia wawre bia ozibi me da say.
Daddy, in 1 minute, summarize my then I yen kanchom enkwala yen educate yen ba na de na ba obi kan wan sama yen chim ntuma na de ne yenye. What can we do to limit it? At least yen stop people yen limit na explode.
We all have a collective responsibility. The church, the clergy, every individual, our political leaders, we have a collective responsibility. If we don't seize and stop this now, in the next few years it will mess up. Boys and girls that are supposed to be responsible, and at the end of the day, life will not be done. Remember, the same politicians who think so we should have right now, we are the same people who realize that we will not have the caliber of people to take things serious. So let us wake up. And in waking up, no, we shouldn't joke about it at all. We have to be serious with our life. Otherwise, we don't even have the equipment to keep them and to deal with them. And it's not West. The cultures will pick from the West. It's not all the cultures that are acceptable here.
Thank you.
We have our own way of life. And for us, it's an abomination. And if we see it as an abomination, why? Traditional rules. In fact, I went to the chief imam. And I spoke. Last year, there was going to be a conference here in Ghana. And Ghana was happy to receive the conference. There was going to be a Homo.S3xuality conference, international conference here in Accra. So I went to chief imam. It became, if you go Google Lawrence Tetteh and chief imam, it will come, it became viral. And I spoke to chief imam openly. And I said, chief imam, we cannot accept it. And I said, Memuna didn't marry Abiba. And Amina didn't marry Ishitu. So did Peter didn't marry Ali. So the man's own is for a woman's own, a woman's own for a man's own. It's not for something else.
You heard, doctor.
And so that is how it was kept. And the Muslims, it meant a lot to them. They took it up. The Christian leaders took it up, and by the grace of God,
limited. So they are under there. So we should kill it.
Yes.
Under there. Okay, you heard, doctor. I don't have anything to say. Yes, peninga we are in suwa santimenuma samasa wakase we. What say the auntie Baaba kan? What say the doctor? So I can be the ministry. Ni when you make answer, baby, I will be a yet down. Ni be also act ni be the yusuru. So when you make Radinka now same time next week. Bye bye. Bye.